Hello and welcome to Basics for Gamers presents Delay and Ready in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. In the previous course we discussed how initiative is used to determine the order in which characters act during encounters, and this video is going to follow up on that by discussing two of the most common ways that characters can adjust when they act within that order. The first is by using the delay action. At the start of a player's turn, if they don't know what they want to do, or if they believe it would be better if one of their allies went before them, then they may choose to delay their action. When a player delays, they essentially step aside as far as initiative is concerned and allow others to pass them. After each other character finishes their turn, the delaying player may announce that they are done waiting and wish to jump back into the initiative order there. At that time, they take their entire turn, meaning all three of their actions, and from that point forward for the rest of the encounter, they use this new placement in the initiative order. Essentially what this means is at the start of every turn, a player can voluntarily lower their initiative score. They can always move backwards in initiative, but have to live with that new place in initiative for the rest of the combat, unless they choose to delay yet again and keep moving further backwards. And if they delay all the way to the end of the round, they may continue delaying into the start of the next round. If they delay for an entire round, meaning that they are still outside of the initiative order when their next turn comes around, they immediately stop delaying, are placed back into initiative order at their usual spot, and their next turn begins. When this happens, they take their turn as usual with 3 actions. They do not get to take 6 actions, as the 3 from the previous round have been lost and they are starting a new turn fresh. That's it in a nutshell, but there are a few other specifics that are worth mentioning. First, when you declare that you are delaying, you effectively step out of the initiative order. While doing this, you cannot take any reactions. So if an enemy does something that would normally provoke one of your reactions while you are delaying, then you're out of luck. You cannot respond to that trigger with your reaction. You have to wait until you finish delaying and move back into the proper initiative order before you can use your reaction, which would then require that trigger to happen again. Also, it's very important to note that any damage or other negative effects that normally occur at the start or end of your turn instead happen immediately when you declare that you are using the delay action. In other words, all damage from poison or other persistent effects, that occurs when you step out of initiative order, not when you step back into initiative order. This is to prevent players from avoiding negative consequences by delaying in hopes that one of their allies can aid them during that period. Poison isn't that polite. It's not going to wait for you. Now that covers negative effects that occur at the start or end of your turn. However, if a negative effect is scheduled to end at the end of your turn, that still doesn't happen until after you finish delaying and complete your turn. Again, you cannot avoid negative consequences by using the delay action. And likewise, you can't make a beneficial effect last longer than intended by delaying. Although negative effects that are scheduled to cease at the end of your turn continue working after you finish delaying, beneficial effects that are scheduled to end at the start or end of your turn end when you declare that you're delaying and stepping out of initiative order, just like damage from poison does. Again, you cannot avoid negative effects or prolong beneficial effects by delaying. Let's look at an example. Harsk and Sela encounter some zombies. Harsk's initiative score is 17, the zombies act on initiative 13, 11, and 10, and Sela is last in the initiative order with an 8. Harsk is hiding and the zombies have not detected him. He's worried that if he opens fire with his crossbow at the start of the round, he'll be overrun by zombies and would rather have his big tanky friend Sela out in the middle of the fight, drawing aggro before he reveals himself. So, on the start of his turn, Harsk announces that he is delaying. This is a free action and is available because its trigger states the start of the user's turn. and if he was suffering any effects that occur at the start or end of his turn, such as damage from poison, then they would deal their damage right now. Likewise, if he was under the effects of a beneficial spell that's due to end at the start or end of his turn, that spell would cease functioning right now when he steps out of initiative order. The zombies then take their turns and they all attack Seela because she is the only target they see. After each of their turns, Hearts could announce that he is done delaying and jumping back into the initiative order, but he decides not to and instead lets the zombies take all of their turns. At this point, Harsk announces that he is done delaying and he jumps back into the initiative order. He now gets to take his full turn. He gets to take all 3 actions, and his new place in initiative is right ahead of Seela. And he'll stay at this place in initiative for the remainder of the encounter unless he decides to delay again. Harsk was able to change his place in initiative by delaying, but there is another method he could use to make sure that he doesn't open fire until after the zombies take all of their turns, and that would be by using the ready action. When you use the ready action, you are essentially saying that you want to take a single action later during another character's turn. During your turn, you announce a single action or free action that you wish to take and also state a conditional trigger for that action. Essentially, you're saying, if X happens, then I will do Y. This costs 2 of your actions and allows you to later use your reaction to perform the specific activity that you named with the trigger. If the trigger you stated occurs before the start of your next turn, you immediately respond with the action that you readied. And note, the rules say that the conditional trigger lasts until the start of your next turn, not before the end of the current round. Therefore, when you use the ready action, it does persist through the end of the current round and into the start of the next round and until the start of your turn in that round. If the action you readied is an attack, then you apply the multiple attack penalty you had at the time you declared the ready action. Also note that the ready action costs 2 actions and allows you to later use your reaction for the event that you readied. Some people misinterpret this to mean that you spend 2 actions for the ready action and that allows you to save your third action for later in the round, but that's not the case. Readying an action costs 2 actions, and then you use your reaction later in the round after the trigger occurs. The reason why this distinction is important is it means you still have 1 action that you can use on your turn in addition to readying. However, that action must be used before you declare that you are using the ready action because the text here states that your turn ends immediately after you declare that you are using ready. For example, you could use 1 action to stride into position and then use your remaining 2 actions that turn in order to ready. Okay, let's look at an example. Chuffy and Poog are playing Goblin Ball. Poog is behind home plate wielding his dog knocker, and Chuffy is on the mound. Poog is first in initiative with a score of 15, and Chuffy is second in initiative with a score of 11. At the top of the round, it's Poog's turn. He thinks Chuffy is going to throw the goblin ball at him, and he wants to hit it with his dog knocker. But he can't take that action right now during his turn because there's no goblin ball within reach for him to strike. So he decides to use the ready action. This costs him 2 of his 3 actions that turn, and he announces that if a goblin ball comes within reach of his dog knocker, he's going to strike it. It's now Chuffy's turn, and he throws the ball at Poog, which triggers his readied action and allows Poog to spend his reaction to swing his dog knocker and send that goblin ball flying into the stands. Poog was able to act even though it is technically Chuffy's turn. If Chuffy had decided not to throw the goblin ball at Poog, the triggering condition would not have been met, and Poog would effectively have wasted 2 actions that turn. Other times when you might want to use the ready action might include preparing yourself in case an enemy approaches, You might say, I'm readying an action. If an orc comes through that door, I stab it. Or you could say, if a bandit steps on the trap door, I'm going to pull this lever. Or you can ready an action to move. You could say, I walk over to the base of the cliff and take the ready action. If any kobolds cross the bridge, I start climbing. In this video, we discuss 2 of the ways a character might adjust when they act within a combat round. The first is by using the delay action. When delaying, the character declares at the start of their turn that they wish to delay. When they do so, they first resolve any negative effects that are slated to occur at any time during their turn, and they also end any beneficial effects that are scheduled to end at any time during the turn as well. They then step out of the initiative order. Play continues as normal, but after every creature's turn, the delaying character may choose to stop delaying and re-enter the initiative order at that spot. If they do so, they keep that place in initiative for the remainder of the encounter. Also note that while delaying, a character may not take any reactions. They must re-enter initiative order after they finish delaying before they can use that reaction. And if you do not stop delaying and re-enter the initiative order by the start of your next turn, you are returned to that place in initiative, lose the 3 actions granted in the previous round, and you start a brand new turn. The second way to adjust when you act is by using the ready action. Using the ready action costs 2 of your actions that turn, but allows you to state a triggering condition and a response to that trigger that is only 1 action or 1 free action. If that stated condition is met before the start of your next turn, you may spend your reaction to perform the activity that you specified. If the readied action is an attack, you'll apply the multiple attack penalty that you had at the time that you declared the ready action. With that, we'll bring this video to a close. If you found this video helpful, please give us a like, and don't forget to click that subscribe button and the bell so you never miss out on our future videos. Leave us a comment letting us know what topics you'd like to see covered in our future videos, and we can always be reached through our Twitter and Facebook pages too. If you'd like to use some of the maps that we feature in our videos in your own games, you can find them at Maps of Mastery. A link to that store can be found in the description. Thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you soon with more basics for your favorite tabletop games.